Welcome back for day 9 of the Drive-In Exploitation Challenge. Got in 5 films today. Well, throughout the day and into the night. Yeah, pretty good. It was a mixed bag of viewing, but overall it was good. First up was the classic 86 Hands of Steel. Sergio Martino's directed rip-off. I hate to use the term rip-off, but basically it's a low-budget Terminator. Daniel Green, who I think they cast the guy predominantly to look like kind of a Sylvester Stallone type. He plays a guy named Paco, who's 70% android and 30% human. And he was created by John Saxon with interesting results. I mean, you've got a lot of cheap car crashes and a lot of arm wrestling and cheesy effects, but it's a lot of fun. And I mean, they just don't make movies like this anymore, particularly with the advent of CGI and computer graphics, but computer special effects. But it's a lot of fun for its time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Sad commentary on this one is that one of the bad guys, Claudio Casanelli, good friend of Sergio Martino's, died in the making of this film in the helicopter one of the helicopter crashes where he tried to get the helicopter underneath a bridge out in, I guess they shot this film in the Colorado, Arizona area, and there was a canyon and a bridge, and I guess just the air pocket caught the helicopter. It didn't make it, so that's unfortunate. But anyway, Sergio Martino talks about the making of the film at length. It's about a 40-minute interview on this 88 film's release. It's excellent release, great picture quality, and a lot of fun. I mean, if you like low-budget Italian action films, then you'll enjoy this. Next up was Beyond the Door. Juliette Mill's take on the Italian take on The Exorcist. Very successful film. It was made for $350,000 and made $15 million. Although Asvidio Asantis, the guy who kind of made a living in the 70s, produced and directed this film, as well as many others that were really just kind of a takeoff on a low-budget takeoff on what was successful in Hollywood. Jaws films and now the Exorcist films. He had to pay Warner Brothers a pretty penny via a lawsuit. I think that's why this film has so many different names. It's called Who? ? Beyond the Door, Behind the Door, Around the Door. I mean, it's a fun and actually pretty creepy possession flick with an Antichrist baby kind of thrown in for dramatic effect. There's a lot of elements in this that are excellent. The musical score is great. If there's in fact, the musical score has been released as a CD, not on this. This is a Coded Red release, and it's got both versions of the film, the Italian uncut release and then the U.S. version. Interesting locations. It was shot in San Francisco and in Rome, so very interesting. But I thought it was played not for parody. I mean, some of the dialogue I think is a little bit laughable now. But I'll tell you, I saw this film in a drive-in when I was 9 years old. My parents took me to the drive-in. It was part of some kind of a triple bill. It scared the living hell out of me. I mean, I remembered laying in the back seat, kind of just peering over the front seat, occasionally looking to see what the hell's going on. But it scared the living Christ out of me. Today it doesn't have quite the same effect. But I tell you, there's a couple scenes where it got me. It still gets me. Possession films, for some reason, particularly films where you've got something lurking behind the door, you can hear noises and crap. That's a weakness of mine. Coded Red DVD release is excellent. As I said, it's got 2 cuts of the film. It's got an audio commentary with a video of scientists, which I have not listened to. I can't wait to listen to that. Another audio commentary with Juliet Mills. And then Behind the Door, 35 years later, featurette with interviews with a video of scientists and Juliet Mills. So, yeah, it's loaded with special features. And I think you can still pick this up. You got to be careful with Code Red stuff because once they're gone typically. Then I watched what I believe is the ultimate answer to healthcare reform. Many, many years ago when I was in college, I wrote a thesis about healthcare reform, single payer system, looking at the aspects of that system as opposed to our system or Canada or Germany, England, etc. I think I've got the answer. I found it. It's purely by accident, but I found it. And that was the Vinegar Syndrome release for The Dungeon of Harrow and Death by Imitation. So what you've got here is a revolutionary low-budget solution to anesthesia. You know, anesthesia costs a lot of money. Anesthesiologists and CRNAs, hospitals spend an inordinate amount of money. It's a big part of healthcare GDP. The solution is to eliminate those and just have this DVD in every pre-op room just before surgery. You put it on, guaranteed to put people in a semi-coma state of affairs. Now, you don't want to put it on, you don't want to make them watch them both before surgery because they might go into a coma which they'll never come out of. But you can pretty much guarantee, say, 30, 40 minutes of either one of these will have the same effect as anesthesia at much less cost. So there you go. You don't need Obamacare. You don't need rationing of medicine. All you need to do is reduce your cost structure by putting this little DVD in everybody's surgical room before surgery. It's great. Words can't describe how painful. I think I've tried to describe it for you. Words really can't describe how painful these 2 films are. The Dungeon of Harrow was directed by this guy named Pat Boyette, who, better known, thank God that he actually didn't get into movies, but did a comic book called The Peacemaker, which was apparently an inspiration for Watchmen. But he also directed this pile of steaming horse shit that words just can't describe. It stars a guy named Russ Harvey, who did, thank God he only did one other film. It's just a painful 90-some minutes. It's a spooky castle movie from the 60s, a la Roger Corman, but it's done in such a painfully, the dialogue, the acting, Wooden doesn't describe it. The only thing I can tell you is you will be in a somnambulistic trance within the first 5-10 minutes, or you'll be laughing hysterically how bad it is. One or the other, but it's everybody in this film, not just Russ Harvey, everybody in this film delivers their lines in the slowest, most monotone, lowest voice that they can come up with. So you don't have just 1 or 2 actors going, yes, I believe that's something that we need to do. You got them all doing it, and they never break the pattern. Yeah, I'm just glad it's over. Death by Invitation was marginally better. It's a witch movie, another 1971. You've got basically a woman that takes revenge on some ancestors that killed her relative back in, it's kind of a witch spinoff film. And it's at least the acting is marginally better and the lines are delivered with some level of interest. But it's a little bit of a chore to get through as well. I mean, you really, it's tough to pay attention to either one of these films, but Ken Friedman directed that one, and hopefully he went on to do some other things that are much better than that. Yeah, I'm interested in hearing the Hysteria Continues podcast, which I enjoy. Has a commentary track on Death by Invitation, which I imagine is got to be the centerpiece of this DVD. Thank God that's over. Then I moved on to Casa Negra's release of The Curse of the Crying Woman, which is the legend of the crying woman, or a ghost woman, is a famous Latin, Spanish storyline that really predates back in the 1500s in varying forms. Abel Salazar, who seems to be in all these films, is in this one. He and his wife go to visit her aunt, and the aunt wants to try to resurrect the crying woman through Salazar's wife, which is her blood relative. Spooky, atmospheric, very much along the lines of Black Sunday. In fact, I think it kind of had some inspiration. There are actually some scenes that feel very inspired directly from Black Sunday. And it's a good film. I also listened to the audio commentary track by he's not a historian, but he's a Mexican cinema expert, Michael Luggia. And then there's a booklet that goes into the legend of the ghost crying woman. So it's a tight little 60s Gothic centerpiece, and from Mexico that I would recommend. So, all right, so there you go. That's day 9, and not bad. Some hits, some misses, but overall I enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.